Le'Veon Bell has a new address, and it's in New York. The three-time Pro Bowler agreed to a 4-year deal with the Jets for just over $52 million with $35 million guaranteed. Bell sat out all of last season because of a contract dispute with the Steelers, and he will actually make less per year than he was slated to make under the franchise tag with Pittsburgh. So, Skip.
So, Jenny.
Did Le'Veon win or lose on this deal?
Le'Veon lost hugely. I actually feel a little sorry for Le'Veon. I know for a fact he lost $14.5 million last year. He just left it right there on the franchise tag table. The rest of it gets a little hazy to me. I see different numbers about the contract. He didn't get a bad deal. In fact, he got a pretty good deal. I think he got the second best running back deal going currently to Todd Gurley. But he wanted to break the bank. He wanted by far the best deal, and he was very, very lucky to get what he got. Because in the end, if you believe all the reports, nobody but the Jets wanted Le'Veon Bell. Everybody was out except the Jets, and they wound up at 0 hour, sort of against the clock, betting or sort of negotiating against themselves. And they could have lowballed him worse than this. I'm going to guess that their thinking was, we got to at least go to here, because if we don't go to here, we're going to have an unhappy camper coming to us, right? And they don't want that, because Le'Veon can get real unhappy real fast, especially in New York. Now we got the flip of Odell, because now we got Le'Veon going to New York, where he will light up for the back page headlines and pictures and all the New York media, because he's a frustrated wannabe rapper, and so he will be.
Did he release his mixtape?
Oh yeah,
he did.
The timing was very interesting with all the news.
It's all right.
You listen to some of it?
I listen to some. I do, because he did one about me last
time. He didn't do a remix of that.
No, I don't think you were.
I didn't hear that one, but I know that's his second career aspirations. That's his goal. So that's fine. So he'll love that, being in New York. But remember, his first 5 years in this league, he had the second most touches. His last year in Pittsburgh, 2017, he led the league in touches. So some of the tread is gone from that tire. He did get 1 year to refresh and to at least save himself for that year. He's still a young football player. He's not a young running back. So he's still a little bit of a gamble, because to me, he's entering the backside of his running back career. And I always say this about Ezekiel Elliott, my guy in Dallas. It's going to be a short window. You know, the window's not going to stay open very long, because he's a high collision back. So I'm hoping they can max it out over the next 2 or 3 years, because after that, it's going to be diminishing returns. And I think Le'Veon has hit diminishing returns portion of his career. So now he's been used to competing for championships, because every year in Pittsburgh, I think they went into the season thinking, if we can just beat the Patriots this time, we got this, right? Now he's going to the Jets, and I give the Jets no shot next year. I'm sorry, to do anything. I don't know, because what do they have? You know, we just talked about Sam Darnold. I like him. I just don't love him. He had, as usual, a rocky rookie year. He had some moments. He had some blips. He had a couple of wow games where we'd say, okay, that could work. And he finished 29th in the league in QBR. And he was 17 touchdowns to 15 interceptions. And he completed a grand total of 58% of his passes, which was the third worst. And the two worst were the two Joshes below him, the two other rookies, Allen and Rosen. So he didn't really light it up. He wasn't Baker Mayfield. And I said, going in, I'm taking Baker number one, and Baker's going to be much better than Sam Darnold to me. And I think you see that start from last year. So they added the Jets, Jameson Crowder. They still got Robbie Anderson, Anunwa. It's okay, but they're still stuck in the Patriots division. And Brady's not getting any older. I know he's chronologically getting older, but he's not. He's just not. He's still Tom Brady. So he's going to be 42, and he's going to play like he's 28. So they're still going to own this division. Will Adam Gase change life? Maybe not. But I can make a case that the best offseason acquisition that the Jets have made is a guy I talked about in the opening segment, Greg Williams. I love Greg Williams. He changed life in Cleveland. He brings an attitude to a defense unlike anybody I've seen since, like, Buddy Ryan days, you know, where he just changes the way you attack. And I can make a case he's more valuable to me than the Le'Veon addition to the Jets right now.
Skip, I wish I could disagree with you, but I do agree. And Le'Veon, I was saying for the last several months, nobody in their right mind is going to break the bank for a running back in this day and age. I thought when the Rams signed Todd Gurley, good for him, but I was like, they didn't have to do that.
Okay.
And now you see he's got some knee issues now, so that may end up being a bad contract. I don't think that helped Le'Veon. The only way you think this was a good deal for Le'Veon is if you think if he had played last year, he was going to get hurt, and then he wouldn't have got a contract. That's the only way.
Okay.
Otherwise, you have to view this as a bust. As you said, he's taking a lower annual salary. If he had taken the $14 million last year and had what I believe would have been a typically productive year, gotten that $14 million, he could have gotten this same exact deal, if not maybe better, because a lot of NFL teams were not happy with the fact that he sat out a year. In football, especially any sport, but in football, where your life literally is pretty much on the line every game, you have to be all in. And a guy that is willing in his prime to sit out a year when you could make $14 million, it wasn't guaranteed. You would have got that $14 million last year. You willing to sit out, that makes people question, are you really all in? Are you really, going to agree? So I think that hurt him. And that's why the market was so low. In last year, a Jets fan tweeted to Le'Veon, we will give you $60 million to come to the Jets, right? And Le'Veon tweeted back, that's not enough money to run for the Jets. So he didn't want to go there.
Yikes.
He had no other offers. He completely misplayed this. And so those are all the financial things. But to your point, now you're going from a team in Pittsburgh that every year, and I think it's going to be the same thing this year, they are thinking deep playoff run, if not the Super Bowl. Even without Le'Veon and Antonio Brown, I think they're going to regroup. Tomlin's going to regain control of that team, and I think they're going to be pretty good. I think there's a team in the division better than them now, but I think the Steelers are going to be pretty good. And now he's going to a team hasn't made the playoffs in the last 8 years. And the receivers are okay. They would added Jamison Crowder. They're all right. You got a second-year quarterback who I do think he's improving. And his last month's QBR was really high. Right. So I think the winner in this deal, and you're right. Look, it's not a bad contract, but compared to what Le'Veon wanted, what was he saying? $17 million plus per year. So this had to humble him, and now he's got the money. And at this stage of his career, at 27, with all the wear and tear, I don't think it's going to be like you might say with some guys, even Odell. Okay, he's coming out with a chip on his shoulder because the Giants traded him. He loves New York. He's going to show him. I don't know if Le'Veon's going to be thinking that way.
I don't think so either.
Right?
And if it gets off wrong, if they start to lose, he's got some of the negative Odell in him. He will pout and he will sulk and he will make waves. If they're not running it enough and they're losing or whatever his issues are, they will come out. He is free with his speech. He will take on management.
A diss track or something.
Yes, he will.
I tell you the one winner I believe in this deal were the Jets. They had plenty of cap room. They didn't have to overspend to get him. I do think, like you said, they went a little higher than they had to. Maybe they were fooled by some of the reports that were leaked out there that other teams were after him.
You just feel like you have to do this, or you bring him in where he feels like he's frustrated from the start. Like if you're going to go get that guy who thinks he's another guy who thinks he's got some NBA superstar in him, you better pay him a reasonable amount, and this is reasonable. You can't shame him with the deal. You can't completely lowball him or you're not going to get anything out of him. And again, they had the money to spend. They need star power. And for one day, they will win the back page headlines in New York because obviously the Giants look pathetic at this moment.
Well, I think he'll help Darnold, too. I think he's going to be a huge help. He's a running game, but he's also a great receiver. So he's going to be able to check down with Le'Veon. I think he's a big help for this team and for Darnold. I agree with you. I don't think they'll be very good, but I think he'll help Darnold.
Step in the right direction, either way. We're going to go back to the Browns. They have been